Donal, with the Grand Slam out of the way now, off the table, is there an opportunity, or is there even a temptation for Joe Schmidt not to take Italy for granted, but to use it just to try a few different things?
I think there is. The championship is very much on. This championship will go right to the last game on the last day, which is great from an organiser's point of view. But I think you need to freshen things up. And you also have to take a view with the World Cup is now only 18 months away. The other sides, I think, are probably more focused on the World Cup at the moment than they are on the Championship. England being a prime example, blooding a huge amount of young players. So I think, look, there's a doubt about Johnny Sexton. In some respects, I think that may be a blessing in disguise, in that I think there's an argument anyway for resting Johnny Sexton against Italy, but maybe this injury doubt surrounding his hand now will force Joe Schmidt to decide that to start Paddy Jackson if he's number 2. He does all the preparation in the 10 days building up to the game, and given that Johnny Sexton is out of the loop anyway, away with Racing Metro during that period, I think it makes sense to throw Paddy Jackson in.
And the centre partnership, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, you know, neither Gordon or Brian are getting any younger. We know that the end is nigh for Brian. Joe Schmidt surely has to be looking at different options and alternatives there.
Yeah, I think so. I think, look, Brian he's gone, fantastic career, but you know it ends next May. The likelihood of Gordon Darcy making the World Cup, you would think, is slim at this stage. He's on the road at international level for 14 years. So in effect, Joe Schmidt, I think, will have about 7 internationals prior to the start of the World Cup to blood a new centre pairing. Luke Marshall played in the opening game against Scotland, played against Australia last autumn. I'd like to see him get a start against Italy and get more confidence and experience of playing at this level. Robbie Henshaw is a player who a lot of people think could well step in to fill the shoes of Brian O'Driscoll in 12 months' time. So I think it's important to use the occasion, and I think anyway changes freshen up a team. Marty Morris is another young player who I think has done well. You need huge backup at tight head prop as the anchor of your scrum, a huge role that Mike Ross has carried almost single-handedly now since the retirement of John Hayes. So Marty Morris come from nowhere, had a great season for Leinster. I think to be worth having a punt with him against Italy, and he'll get a good scrummaging test. We all know Italy will be strong up front. They have the most experienced pack in the Six Nations Championship, so a lot to be gleaned, I think, from making a few changes, but not too many.
Would you have gambled? I know he might have been a bit short of match practice, but his form has been so dynamic. Would you have gambled on Zebo for England just to provide the X factor that maybe Ireland were missing?
As a very minimum, I'd have put him in the match day 23. He does offer something that other players don't have. You look at the scenario that Ireland were in with 10 minutes to go, they're 3 points down, playing against a very good England defence, but a tiring England defence. I think he would bring something different into the mix. Fergus Mcfadden is a fantastic player. He plays well in the structure that Joe Schmidt likes, and is used to it obviously from his days in Leinster. But ever since he's come onto the scene, the higher up the level that Simon Zebo has gone, the more effective he's been. I saw him on Alliance Tour, came out as an injury replacement for Tommy Bowe. Within 25 seconds of his debut against the Waratahs in Sydney, he had a try. It was disallowed as it happened, but a try in the corner. That's what he brings to the mix. And I think at the very least I'd be looking to introduce him onto the bench. He can cover the back 3. If Sexton is out, and Paddy Jackson starts, the likelihood is that Ian Madigan will be on the bench. He can cover 10 and 12, so therefore Simon Zebo would cover the back 3 positions. I would definitely look to bring him into that squad.
Yeah, because is Joe Schmidt, everybody praises him for his structure and his attention to detail, but in any team situation you do need that loose, you know, that extra dimension.
You do, and I think that's what Zebo brings. Sometimes I think players are too structured, and therefore they don't play what's in front of them, whereas Zebo is the exact opposite. I know that Joe Schmidt has certain issues in respect of Simon Zebo's work rate in defence. His one-on-one defence has been excellent. People query that when he came into the national side first, but I think that's never been an issue. I think his work rate has improved immeasurably in the games that he's played for Munster recently. I think he's scored 5 tries in 4 matches. He's hungry. You can see the fact that he's been left out